Okay, we kind of got a few things organized here, so I'm going to start running some stuff through, get this smaller wire through, go from there. I haven't tested the depth yet. Looks like it needs to be deeper. Oh, that's getting it there. I can tell, I can feel it. I can feel it in my plums. Got it. Need a little deeper. Yeah, see, all these wires are kind of slightly different size, so that makes it tough. It's almost impossible to separate them. I tried to, but they all kind of look the same, but it turns out they're not. This feels like a thick one here. Hurry up. Well, I've been working on this for hours. I spared you the gory details and the monotony. Or maybe not. Maybe I just showed you a little bit of the monotony. But the stripping part of this is the worst part. Peeling the coating off of it. Takes some time. Yeah, this is the boring part. But it's all about whether someone feels like spending the time doing it. If you don't, then don't. I hear a lot of people ask the question, is it worth it? Not necessarily about this, but about anything I do. I mean, is it worth it for who? Obviously, if I'm doing it, it's worth it to me. If you're asking me if it's worth it for you, I can't answer that. I'm not going to say how your time should be spent, that's up to you. It's like changing the oil in your car. You know, people think going to have it changed by a service is a waste of money. That's fine. You want to do it yourself, do it yourself. I wish I enjoyed crawling under my car, laying on my back and changing the oil, but I don't. So I get in and out in 10 minutes and have someone else change the oil. So any of this stuff being done, it's all in the eye of the beholder. Okay, so that is all the copper I got so far. Now I want to show you this bucket down here. These are all the little pieces. It's going to have some decent copper in it. I'm only going to do the long ones, and then the short ones I'm just throwing in my number one. But on a sad note, that thing is still right there, and it's not going to get touched tonight because it took me frickin' all day just to do this. So I'm going to reset the, well, actually I'm going to run some smalls through, but eventually, before I'm done tonight, I'm going to see if I can get some of those aluminum ones through. Keeps jumping the track. Not looking good. See, that's why it needs these hole guides to hold the wire in place so it doesn't shoot it off to the side. Well, that's that. I gotta sit here and fight it. I'll take it in like that. Maybe if it was something other than aluminum, I'd spend my time on it. Yeah. Would have been fun to strip all that aluminum, but let's see what we could do with this stuff. Oh man, I'm making needles. Ow! Oh, I made needles with aluminum. Oh, that'll pop a tire in a heartbeat. Oh boy. Try this one. Okay, that's not bad. Just had it way too deep on that one. There's a little one. Yeah, whatever time. See, you set all this aluminum wire down here. Look at these needles. Oh my gosh. I mean, that is so sharp. But obviously not worth the time to try and figure it out. I mean, I could take my angle grinder and run down the edge of it, but as Maria Gonzalez said to her husband, no way, Jose. So I've got a little bit of aluminum. I'll just put in with my aluminum. Okay, I gotta strip the rest of those small pieces I just ran through. I've got that big wad of copper up on my table. Oh, actually, let me weigh that. Let's let that be the ender to this video, is to see how much Bear Bright I got today. Let's see what my efforts did for me today. Okay, 14 pounds. Yeah, 14 pounds. What's Bear Bright, 350? Yeah, not a huge payday, but it's an addition to my other bucket over here. What's this bucket, 5 pounds? Okay, so that's 46 pounds of Bear Bright, 46 and a half. We'll call it 41. So I've got over $120 worth of Bear Bright right here. I'm good with that. Okay, I've got the whole setup here. Got my truck out in the driveway. I almost feel obligated to work on this monstrosity of a tote. So I'm getting this sucker down. Let's see what we can do with it. Oh. This is a way bigger cluster than I thought it was going to be. I can't even lift that tote. I'm just going to have to pull stuff down and stuff's going to be falling everywhere. Jeez, come on. I don't know what to do. Get this big one out of here. Why did I put it in there in the first place? That was brainless. I got my heater on right now. It's cold. 52 degrees outside, but there's a cold wind. It's freezing in here. So I got so much stuff right now. Got some big stuff in there. All of that. All of that. I got these big mugs. So yeah, man, I gotta just start pushing stuff through, see what we could do here. This bin is out of control. So I'm hoping a lot of this is the same size of wire. See, I got blood because I got poked by one of these. That's just not solid core, so he wants to get you. And they are like needles, man. There's no doubt about it. Probably just put this in my wire bucket and get money for it, but I like the thought of melting this and getting more for it. It's a really fine line between not cutting deep enough and cutting too deep. Oh, here's some solid core. Yeah, you just get a little bit too deep and it's going to turn into needles, and then that's a nightmare. You get copper everywhere. And at some point I'm going to do that because there's so many different sizes here. Alright, so we've been feeding this beast for a while. I'll be interested to see how much actual copper we get out of this. It's a lot of work to get copper out, but I'm not running a Fortune 500 company right now, so I have a little time on my hands. So if it takes me a little bit of time to do it, that's okay. You know, we got some long pieces in here too. Uh-oh. That was gonna tangle. Smart move would be to cut that into shorter strips. But if you're looking for the smart move, you are at the wrong channel, Holmes. This is the kind of stuff that comes out of BX. Typically all about the same thickness, same type of wire. Most people don't strip this kind of wire because it's braided, but I don't care. I spent money on this stripper, get some use out of it. This is the easy part. The painful part is stripping all this because you know you're going to get poked. This is the kind of thing though you could do a whole bunch of and feel like you haven't even making a dent. Okay, let's be smart about this here. So I might put this on, I can never think of the time warp. That way I can turn the radio on and it passes the time a little bit. I'm going to try to sort out as much of the same type of wire as possible and get it staged so I can just shoot it all through at one time. Taking a little extra time now and being organized, way more efficient. I forgot I found this one, but these are the fun ones to find. You find a big old roll of it. Trying to unroll it's going to be a pain. Project Shop Florida does that with a lot of stuff. Seems to be a good way to do it. Of course, I don't get wire and rolls that often, so I haven't had to do it, but I like that. That's a pretty good mess right there. I'll run that through. This is where we stand with the wire stripping. Put all the bare bright into my bin already, and all of this wire right here is wire that has to be stripped yet. It's all been split. This needs to be pulled out of the casing now. I'm getting a good amount in there. In retrospect, I would not have stripped all of this wire. I would have just put it in my wire bin and taken it in, because it's pretty small and it's a lot of work for what I'm gonna get. Now I'm gonna melt it, make bars out of it. So this number 2 copper that I have at this time will be number 1, but it's taking up a big chunk of my garage. I've been out here pretty much all week, various stages of this project. And I could have been doing some other stuff. If you look in the background, you see I have a, well, see, this one's starting to splinter a little bit. Makes it a real joy to try to fold up when you're getting needled, and that this piece right here didn't even get cut. So I gotta cut that off. Try to cut that at another time. But anyway, there's a microwave back there. It looks like a car stereo. Found a motor, just some other random stuff there. There's always stuff you could be doing, and when a project like this takes up the better part of a week, then it probably wasn't worth it. And now this one's a splintering mess. This one, you wouldn't even dare try to fold that up. You'd be bleeding from every orifice. But as you can see, this is a real time suck. I was really tempted the other night to just take all this stuff, even though I had run it through the stripper and just put it in my wire bin, but I decided not to do that. This is going to melt really nice though. There's not going to be any slag whatsoever because there's no varnish on the wire. This is going to be a melt and pour, and then it'll be worth it. But I decided that I'm going to work on collecting all of my non-ferrous metals and take them in on Monday. Got too much to try to gather up today, but it's about time to empty out all my bins. My Bear Bright has a decent amount. Cast aluminum is getting pretty full. Not a lot of brass because I had just taken that in, but I have a few pieces to add to that. A decent amount of number 1 copper, again, not a whole lot. And then my number 2 wire, the blue barrel below it on the right side, that one is probably 3/4 full and quite heavy. So I definitely have 100 pounds of wire there, which should be a good $100 bill. Then all the other stuff. So you go to the scrapyard and you get your, you have your gas money visits where you get 30 bucks, 50 bucks, 70 bucks or whatever. Nothing major ever. But it's because you've saved all your good stuff. So, and then even a lot of the good stuff I've found will not be at the scrapyard because I've melted a lot of it. Okay, we're getting down to the end of this wire stripping adventure, and that's the amount of copper that we have so far. We're going to weigh it when we're done, but it's been a long one. This is wire that would have just gone to the recycle yard, but we're gonna melt it and get something out of it. So let me tell you what I'm doing here. I'm grabbing a wire. This is a short wire, but I'm putting on this, and it stretches out the end piece, making it easier to get the whole peeling process started. Then I'm putting all of my wires up here. So instead of wrapping them one at a time, which I was doing, I'm just putting them up there now. Then I can wrap a bunch of them together all at once and make a bigger chunk, because if I'm putting more copper into my crucible, I don't want to put them one little piece at a time. Having a really big chunk to put in there is nice. So this is something new, hitting it with the hammer, but it sure makes it makes the process a lot easier. And then not wrapping up every wire individually also has sped up the process quite a bit. Some pieces just didn't get cut all the way to the end, and I'm not wasting my time. I'm just cutting them off, and then I'll put them in my wire bin. Yeah, I think I'm going to save all my wire stripping to larger pieces. This is kind of ridiculous. I'm not on a time clock. I'm not working for anybody. This is all my own personal. So, question I have to ask myself to determine whether it is worth it for me is to say, did I put off any other projects that I could have been doing? And the answer is no, I did not put off any projects. Just spending my free time. So that makes it worth it to me. Now, so many people say, oh, it's not worth it. It's such a waste of time. And then those people go indoors, just stare at their phone for 3 hours. So which is a bigger waste of time? Okay, last piece. Okay. So everything is stripped. Now I gotta wad this up. Very pokey, very, very pokey. Which is why I have gloves and then I don't get poked from it. At least I haven't yet. So I just kind of collapse it all. Like that. Twist it. Ooh, and then I fold it in half. That'll fit nicely into my crucible. So I gotta sweep all those crumbs, and then we're gonna get a weight on all of this copper. Let's see, what do we got? 20 pounds? I don't know. Let's watch it go up. You gotta be careful of a scrapper. Our weights are pretty calibrated after a while. I guessed 20 pounds and we got 21. Okay, friends. 21.6 pounds of copper out of that wire. There's still more to go. There's these two pieces right here, 3 pieces. I'm not going to do those right now. And then I got all of the aluminum, which I'm taking in just like that. Anyway, 21 pounds here, and then I got 15 pounds, got that construction wire. So that's 36 pounds of copper just from wire. That is awesome. Okay, so there you have it. I'm going to cash out right now. Cash in my chips. That is the wire stripping. What a pain in the arse it was, but we're done. Now we can move on to something else. Appreciate you watching. Please like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. And grab yourself some merch on eBay if you want. Just type in Scholar Metals and you'll find it. All right. See you later. Thanks.